Unspewicakiyapi, oyate ahowi chadui machiapi, ambetute chante washdenape chusapi. Hello everyone, my name is Sheridan McNeil. My Dakota name is Respects the People Woman, and I'm from the Standing Rock Nation. I have the honor to introduce to you a series of tribal college graduates who had many opportunities, as you'll soon learn. My journey also started at a tribal college, Sitting Bull College, in the teacher ed program. That journey opened so many doors for me. I earned an associate degree in teacher education, a bachelor's degree in elementary education, and more recently, a master's degree in education, curriculum, and instruction. As Indigenous people, we often say that we think 7 generations ahead. So our decisions, our actions not only impact our world today, but our next 7 generations. Sometimes I just can't believe some of the circles that I'm in and opportunities that have come forward to help make the differences in our next 7 generations. I often think of myself as this little res girl. But through my educational journey, I had found people that believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Through your college journey, you'll find people like that too. As you'll see in the video, 7 tribal college graduates are on their career paths now, but we all started somewhere. So be brave and keep going. Remember, your ancestors are always walking with you. We have a responsibility to their prayers as they prayed for us to be here today, and we also have a responsibility to our next 7 generations. Mitakuye Oasin.
My name is Randy Vaughn, and I graduated from United Tribes Technical College in 2020, and I am currently a special education teacher at Theodore Jameson Elementary School.
My name is Josh Standing Elk. I'm a Sichangu Lakota and Iroquois Hidatsa, a member of the 3 affiliated tribes, otherwise known as the MHA Nation. I'm a father. I have 2 daughters, which when I was going to tribal college, they were part of my journey.
My name is Bailey Walschlager. I am from Newtown, North Dakota, which is the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation, and I am a part of MHA Nation, which is Mandan, Hidatsa, and Iroquois. I graduated from United Tribes Technical College in spring of 2023 with my bachelor's in elementary education, and I am a 3rd grade teacher at Newtown Public Schools.
My name is Jodine Usesmany. I graduated from United Tribes in 2012 with my bachelor's, and I currently teach 1st grade at Theodore Jameson Elementary.
My name is Cheyenne Como Gonzalez. My family comes from the Standing Rock and MHA Nation. I graduated in 2012 with my bachelor's degree in elementary education through Sinte Gleshka University.
My name is Shote Algvois. I graduated from United Tribes Technical College in May 2023. I am a 4th grade teacher at Wilmore Elementary.
My name is Justin Lawrence. I am from Eagle Butte, South Dakota, which is located on the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Reservation. I have an associate's degree in early childhood, a bachelor's degree in elementary ed, and then my master's degree in education.
I was born in Alameda, California, which is not too far away from Oakland. And I grew up in San Jose, California. That's where I went to elementary school. And we lived out there until I was about 13 years old and moved out here to Bismarck.
So I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school in Newtown. I remember growing up that we used to know everyone on the reservation, but since we're in the middle of the oil field, the Bakken, I know only half. So it kind of expanded.
I grew up in South Dakota. Kind of moved around a lot in South Dakota. I'm actually from the Pine Ridge Reservation, but I'm an enrolled member of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe. I moved up here to North Dakota when I was 15. One of the biggest challenges that I have as a person right now is that I am hearing impaired. I wear hearing aids in both ears, and I didn't get my hearing aids until I was 16 years old.
So I am originally from South Dakota. I grew up on the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Reservation. I lived there for the first 22 years of my life, and then I came to United Tribes.
I was born and raised on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. A lot of my childhood was spent between my mother's community as well as my father's community. So I had, pretty close with both sides of my family, and it's a pretty large family. I had a few years at Lone Man Elementary in Oglala, South Dakota. I then had a few years at elementary school off the reservation in Oryx, South Dakota. And then ventured back on the reservation in my maternal grandmother's community of Red Shirt. I then went to boarding school for high school at the Flandre Indian School. Kind of felt like I really thrived there. I got exposure to cultures, languages, traditions, making a lot of friends from those backgrounds kind of really helped me grow.
I was born in Fort Yates, North Dakota, but my family did live in the Mandan area, so I grew up in school in the Bismarck, Mandan area. I went to elementary school there, and I graduated from high school there too.
I am from Eagle Butte, South Dakota, and I grew up there. Lived mostly with my mom. I always kind of knew I wanted to be a teacher. My senior year, I worked at a daycare after school every day. So that was my first job, and that's kind of where I knew that I wanted to work with young kids. I had plans to go to college, but 20 years old, I had my first son. At that time, I was working as a nursery aide at the tribal daycare on our reservation. After a year of doing that, I was like, I can't. I had a baby to raise on my own. I was a single parent, so I enrolled at United Tribes. I packed up all our stuff in my car, and me and my 2-year-old son, we moved to Bismarck.
Lots of challenges, I'll tell you that. I was a mom when I was young, and just trying to balance being a mother and being a full-time student was a challenge on its own. And just trying to make sure I had all my schoolwork done, handing it in on time and doing the best that I can there, and as well as being the best mom I could be. So I was just trying to balance everything out. Was really tough.
I guess being a part of baseball led to me receiving a scholarship, and this is really kind of the beginning of my college journey, that I didn't really feel like it was a good fit. I think a lot of the culture piece was a big part of it, and ended up going to 2 different colleges after that. They talk about having a champion for you, or someone that's going to support you, whether it was an advisor or an instructor or someone who I would have created a relationship with. I didn't have that support with me throughout that time. Also, I had a daughter when I was 21. I really felt like I needed to support her full time, and so ended up dropping out of college and not finishing student teaching. And I think that really laid a lot of weight on my shoulders, is that I had an opportunity to go to college, had opportunities to finish, and I just couldn't quite get over that hump of graduating college. I think that I needed to pursue something that I hadn't finished, and that's when I kind of ended up at United Tribes Technical College.
After I graduated high school, I attended one of the local colleges in Bismarck, and I did okay that first semester, and that second semester I failed. And then I moved to Minot, and I attended one of the universities there, and I ended up dropping out. Just was not ready for college.
After I graduated from Bismarck High School and I started at BSC, I fell into kind of like the partying thing at BSC. So when I stopped going to classes and things like that, I was able to seek help with the resources that United Tribes provided at the time. So I took some time off, and then I started my education journey again at United Tribes Technical College.
I did a year at South Dakota State. I loved it there. They had a lot of opportunities for me, a lot of people to meet, but I felt that it was way too big. My smallest class was above 60, largest class was about a few hundred. So after that year, I decided to just give my tribal college a try. So I would walk to my classes. So I'd get up, have breakfast with my grandma, then make my 5-mile journey to Pine Ridge. Towards a few weeks after midterms, my uncle was teaching maths, and he saw me walk in the building, and He asked me, how'd you get here? I didn't see a car pull in. I said, I walked. And he laughed. He said, if you show them your tribal ID, your student ID, you can ride the transit for free. So I spent like 2.5 months walking to class, to home, getting back late. But, after a while, I guess that just shows my dedication to getting my degree.
Some of the challenges was moving so far, or moving away from home for one. My son was really attached to my parents and my siblings. The first 4 months of schooling, he cried every day at daycare. So that was a challenge. Being a single parent was a challenge. And not only dealing with my homesickness and my loneliness, it was his too.
The colleges that I had been at had been predominantly white. I started to have an inner realization that I felt more comfortable and I felt more empowered when it came to being able to be with other Native Americans, to having culture in my life. It was just a whole new feeling for me going back to school.
I actually started at UTTC because they were able to help me with some of the things that I had gotten myself into. Had my 2-year in early childhood out there, and I worked for 6 years as a preschool teacher on a Standing Rock reservation. I was actually a center supervisor. During that time, they decided that at some point our supervisors are going to need a bachelor's degree. So I just decided to go back and become a full-time college student.
My sisters had gone to United Tribes first, and so that's how I came and followed next. Got my 2-year degree, and then in early childhood education, I went back home and worked for a few years back to South Dakota. I worked at my high school where I graduated again, and then decided that I wanted to come back to school again. So I moved back up here and enrolled in the 4-year program.
How I got the idea of going to tribes was my Uncle Valentine Finley, and he actually has a jersey up hanging in the gym at United Tribes. I was originally going to go to UMary, but he's like, Bailey, go to tribes. You'll save money and you'll be more familiar. And was just the smart decision at the time. At one point, I just had my youngest, and I was doing a class, and one of the teachers ended up taking him because he was crying, calmed him down, and soothed him while I took the test. If it wasn't for my tribal college having a childcare, I wouldn't have been able to achieve my goal of getting my degree, because not a lot of colleges have daycares, and that really helped me a lot.
I was working at the preschool, and the director, my boss, she calls me in her office and she's like, throws this paper in front of me, and I read it, and it was the CEDAR program, and it was a bachelor's program, the first bachelor's program on United Tribes. She's like, you're a good teacher, you should think about it at least. So I applied for it and I got into the program, and that's where that started with my bachelor's. Being a single parent wasn't in my plans, but that kind of helped me push myself to attend United Tribes. And another thing that sold me was the daycares on campus.
My grandmother actually made me move back and said, it's time to get back to school. So she was a teacher at United Tribes, and so she helped me enroll. And so that's when I kind of got serious about my degree and started elementary education.
I felt like I needed a little change of pace. I wanted to go off on my own, be on my own again. But I also want it to be close enough to where I can get to home quickly if something were to happen. So a lot of my relatives recommended, Bismarck. My father graduated from Bismarck. I had a few cousins who did, and they were telling me to, just give it a try, figure things out. Came up here and been here ever since.
We were just always a family where we looked out for each other, and we just took care of each other all the time. And that's why I love teaching, because teaching is all about caring for your students and making sure your students have what they need to be successful.
My favorite memories from my childhood were spent at the elementary school that I went to. I had this 5th grade teacher, Miss Altona is her name, and she made school so much fun.
I've always wanted to be a teacher. So I knew that for a fact, and I've always had that encouragement from, everyone, family, friends, cousins, for me I'd have teachers who were hit and miss, and I remember the ones who felt like they actually wanted to be there more than the others who were just there for the job. And I kind of wanted to be someone like that.
One of the reasons why I became a teacher was sometimes I was the only Native student in my grade level. It could be the whole school. That was really important for me to be a role model in the community. So my grandmother actually taught at United Tribes Technical College. She retired there in her 70s. I wanted to be like her and be a teacher like her. So she was my main reason for going to United Tribes.
What also helped me to sway to education was having my children. I was very young when I had my 2 sons. I was the only person in my family for a long time that eventually earned a bachelor's degree. So that's something that I really want my sons to understand, and hopefully that they'll too earn some degrees throughout their lives.
My dad is actually a culture teacher today, and he's been in education ever since I was little. All that being in my life, I just knew I always wanted to do something in education. Being a para in Newtown Public Schools really opened my eyes, because I took a lot of joy in just seeing kids light up when they got the question right, or just being in that school system. From there, I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
I was able to connect with my instructors so much more because I had challenges that nobody else had. When I started getting serious about my college work, I really needed to take extra notes. I needed to go see the instructors after class. They helped me make sure that I had all of the information and the resources I needed.
One of the big reasons that I was successful at United Tribes was I had the best advisor that you could ask for. She really went to bat for me when I did have some struggles, whether it was lesson planning or working through field practicums, and I don't think I would have been able to get through college if she hadn't been there to be that positive person for me.
The challenge for me was being a single full-time mom and trying to provide for my boys at the same time. One thing that really helped me was having my friends' support. I maintained those friendships, and so we've all kind of helped each other. Even with my master's degree, I thought it was going to be so hard, but I had, the support of, the staff, teachers, and then also my friends. When I look back, I feel really good that I was able to keep going and overcome and eventually earn my degree.
So a big challenge for me up here, I was homeless for 2 summers in a row. I did have a job, obviously not enough to get an apartment, to get a car. I had, friends that could lean on, friends, that I would consider family today that they didn't know though. I would ask, can I just, kind of spend the night, kind of make it seem like I wanted to hang out. So I did that for 2 summers in a row, worked. I never really reached out for help because I felt like if I did, they would see me as, a failure, someone who failed. And, looking back now, I realized how ridiculous that was. I probably could have had, that greater emotional support when I needed it. There were points, where I did give up from the struggles. For me, it was a lot of passings from relatives that were so close to me. And it seemed like they just kept leaving. And there were a few times where I would stop for a semester or a year. What I loved about being here was that, a lot of the staff would reach out, encourage me to come back. Also, my family would, keep telling me, they wouldn't want you to do this. It took a few times to realize that, yeah, that's true. They would want me to keep going. I'm thankful for the support I have. Thankful that, I went out there and made friends, who did want the best for me and not, just to go out and party and stuff, but who had the same beliefs and goals that were aligned to mine. I'm glad I kind of pushed through, fought through, did what I can to, return to school after each summer. And that in itself was a big accomplishment.
I tried community college, I tried a university, and just being a number at a school didn't work out for me. Having that close family, building those relationships, that's what helped me become successful. We helped each other on projects. We were accountable, and just really getting to know our advisors, and they almost became like my college mom. You know, if I had problems or anything going through my school, I would just talk to them, and they were so understanding and approachable, and we just became like a really close family.
Having babies while in school is tough. I missed out on so much, and always being busy. So I always said with my youngest kids that I wouldn't go back till they were older. But this opportunity came before me with this master's program, and they were going to pay for all my schooling. All I had to do was just work on a reservation, work with Native American children, and give back to my community. I mean, those were my ultimate goals anyway when I first moved to Bismarck. That opportunity came, and I couldn't pass it by.
I've had several leadership opportunities at the building level, the district level, and at the state level as well too. Those leadership opportunities, they started really small. They started within the education program, and it just started by being active in our committees.
I finally learned, I think, was it year 2 of United Tribes, that if you're a good student, there are opportunities for you. That motivated me to become a better student, get a higher GPA, get those scholarships. My advisors took me more seriously, and they funded some of my trips that were for Native pre-service teachers. We had a Yale internship from the college. She funded my trip to NASA in Houston, Texas, so I was able to go learn about science and STEM. Went on a trip to Oklahoma City. A few of us presented the actual cohort we were in, so that was really nice. Experiences I would never have gotten to in traveling, because I never traveled before, so that was exciting.
I tried to get involved with as much things as possible. During my time there, I was actually a spokesperson for the teacher ed program that they had on campus. One of the biggest successes that I had was in my sophomore year, I received the 2019 Student Teacher of the Year award.
I even brought a lot of family up with me to also, get their degree. I think I recruited for our college quite a number of people.
So I'm a second year, third grade teacher at Newtown Public Schools. I'm so glad I was able to achieve my degree, because without it, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. I'm able to go back to my reservation and help the youth. And that's what I've always dreamed of, is giving back to my reservation.
I just finished my 10th year of teaching kindergarten. When I graduated, I wanted to give back to my community, so I taught at Standing Rock Grant Elementary School for 2 years. And then I traveled back to Bismarck because that is my home and where I grew up, and there are hardly any Native educators there, so I think that's just as important as me giving back to that community. And now I work at one of the most diverse schools in Bismarck, with not just Native American students, but many countries from all over the globe. So that is really important to me, that I'm a role model for them. I'm also a role model for non-Native students as well. I just graduated with my master's degree as a reading specialist and principal credential. I still have those close relationships with my advisors. When I graduated with my master's degree, they were right there to watch.
I got my elementary education degree, and then I went out to the University of Mary and I got my master's in special education. So now I work at Theodore Jamerson Elementary School on the United Tribes Technical College campus. I'm ready to start my new role as a special education teacher and put my master's degree in special ed to use. It's a special feeling being able to work with the instructors who helped me get my degree and work with them side by side.
I am a teacher now at Theodore Jamerson. I've been there for 20 years. I started out as a teacher's aide. When I got my degree, then I moved into teaching. I teach at the younger stages, and so I'm just trying to build them up. I'd like to see my students continue and graduate, and then hopefully come to college.
Now I'm a 4th grade teacher at Wilmore Elementary, and I really love it. A lot of my college experience as well as my experience working in the school setting, I think helped me prepare for it, but putting me in the classroom encouraged me to reach out on my own to make those connections within Bismarck, and I felt like that helped me grow a lot professionally as well. I still talk to a lot of the educators I worked for, that I subbed for in Bismarck, and I'm really glad that I got those experiences from United Tribes.
In the fall, I will be a first grade teacher at Cheyenne Eagle Butte School, which is where I attended school and graduated from. I've been a teacher for 8 years. I graduated in 2016 with my bachelor's degree from United Tribes Technical College. My main goal was to always go home and give back. They had called me from back home and they offered me a job there. Like, hey, we just heard you just graduated. Would you apply? And we moved back home and we've been there since. A single parent with a 2-year-old baby on my hip, and I needed to do something for him. And I just hope that I have laid down a solid foundation for him and my other 2 children to follow. He's the reason I started this journey.
I tried community college, I tried universities, and it wasn't successful for me because I was just a number. But at United Tribes Technical College, in the education department, we became a family. My advisors were there to help me succeed. The most important thing is that they believed in us. I became confident in who I was in my culture. And when we have that confidence, it just helps us succeed.
Tribal colleges, I truly believe that they're hidden gems all across the United States, specifically for the fact that I didn't know who I was going into college. My self-identity was cloudy, and I didn't know these layers of culture that are so vital to help you find out who you are and what you want to be, and I think a big part of that is culture.
United Tribes has so many resources out there. If you need help with housing, or if you need help with scholarships, or they have counselors, or even mental health. If you need help with something that you're struggling with mentally, they have amazing counselors out there. I think that was also one of the things that kind of got me through.
I would so recommend tribal colleges because it's such a home away from home. I've developed such a close-knit relationship with some of my classmates. So we collaborate a lot and call each other and FaceTime each other. So just being that tight-knit community at a tribal college really helped us.
Because I started at a tribal college first, I was able to gain the confidence. So when I had to take other courses from larger universities, I knew that I could do it.
I feel like, one can get exposed to a lot of different cultures and languages, just because we're all grouped as Native American, people tend to forget, even natives themselves, that, we're different, that we have a lot to bring to the table for each other, as well as, for the group people around us. Kind of, for me, it helped me reconnect with a lot of my beliefs that I forgot about, encouraged me to, practice my language more. What I really love about the tribal college is that it's kind of a more intimate setting, and coming from, my reservation, that's kind of what I grew up around.
I like going to a tribal college because it was oriented around family and culture. And it was meeting people that were just like you, but from all over. They made you feel welcome. They made you feel like you belonged there. The major plus for me too was me being able to bring along my child and him having somewhere to go while I got my education. I don't feel I would get that if I would have went to a bigger college or university.
What I would like to tell others is don't be scared to reach out, and don't be scared to ask for help, because there are resources for you. And how can you get your resources if you don't ask questions? You just got to keep pushing through and remember why you're doing it.
Journey through college is filled with struggles, temptations, happiness, anger, all the emotions you can think of. Remember your goal. It's easy to forget about that. It's easy to be lured into having fun all the time. It's good to have that freedom, to have that fun, but don't lose track of what you came here to do.
Keep trying your hardest. I've seen a lot of friends who have come to the college and failed and just decided to go home, and I always feel that makes me feel really bad because I know that if you just put the time and effort in, that you can do it.
Surround yourself with the good people. Just show your colleagues and your advisors that you do want this, and if you work hard, that's going to open the door for other opportunities.
So if I could do it, I know you can do it. Just communicate with everyone. The teachers and advisors and everyone there wants you to succeed, and they're there to help you.
Put yourself out there and take on new challenges. It's very scary to think about being the forefront of a program or speaking in front of a bunch of people, but I feel like it opens up so many doors when you kind of put yourself out there and you share your story.
There are so many different opportunities out there to be successful, but you have to find that right fit. And it took me quite a few colleges to find that right fit, but I had a college that was right down the street that ended up being the perfect fit for me.